For the past 7 summers, I have attended a camp in Canada focused on canoe tripping. Nothing can describe the peace and happiness that I experienced while spending a month of my year in the most beautiful place on earth, Algonquin Park. Algonquin is home to Camp Pathfinder, an all-boys camp that has called an island on Source Lake home since 1914. Last summer, I was fortunate enough to take part on a 40-day canoe trip in Quebec. This is the story of my experience and hardships that I encountered that pushed me to my physical limits and made up the best summer of my life. The main river on our trip was Rivière à la Claire, which translates to the Clearwater River. We were supposed to be on this river for 5 days, and the last day have a huge portage into Richmond Gulf. We had done many other portages in the past, some over 10 kilometers, but nothing could have prepared us for our last leg of the trip. As we pulled off to the side of the river to start of the portage, I knew instantly that we'd be there for longer than originally thought. I hopped out of our boat and pulled it up to shore. When placed in the middle of nowhere with no communication for 40 days, your mind starts to think of the worst possible outcomes, something I dreaded and avoided to think about. We waited for what felt like eternity, and even brushed our teeth to lighten the mood. It was in the middle of the day, and we thought it was funny. Anything's funny after 30 days. When the staff finally came back, I could tell by the solemn look on their faces that my hypothesis was correct. We would need to look for a site further upstream away from the rapids. The next day we paddled back to the original spot with a vengeance. Before I knew it, all of our packs were out of the boat, and we began our work of hauling them up the first section, which was a hill with densely packed pine trees and loose soil. This only proved to be a problem when the only piece left was the 100-pound boats that required to be dragged a few feet while everyone readjusted their position and then dragged a few more feet. Once all the boats were up, we began our work on the second leg, which was cutting through the saplings in order to make a path large enough for the boats and packs to be carried through. I had never seen us snap into action like we did when we needed to cut through several hundred meters of dense saplings, and will never forget the look of thrill and excitement on all of our faces as we pulled through the final clearing. Going through those trees was the hardest experience of my life, not only physically but also mentally. The pain and intensity of the day had taken a toll on all of us, but something about completing it together made it bearable, and I can't imagine doing it without the boys. Whenever one of us needed a break, we all stopped and took a break as a group. The camaraderie that we had that day made the entire trip come together as one, and we were unstoppable by the end. We kept pushing and would not give up. By the time we made it to the top and we could see Richmond Gulf, we all had smiles and we all exchanged hugs. There was no better feeling of adrenaline as we started our way down the other side, as we left our troubles and hardships in the past. The last intense leg of our trip is really what brought everyone together and made for the most memorable summer of our lives.